Everybody can chant at home. Om Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya Shitoshna Sukha Dukkadaha Agamapayino Nityaha Tan Stitikshasva Bharata. So very, very beautiful verse. And Bhagwan, in the middle of his philosophical verses, he brings in this verse because he knows that Arjuna is wondering how to cope with those things that change in life. Okay, changeless you've introduced me to. Now, I know the changeless you've introduced me to, the verses are introducing me to the changeless. But what about the things I'm constantly seeing? They're always changing, changing, changing. Whole Jagat is in a constant flow, constant flux. So Bhagavan told him, you know, how Arjuna in this verse, basically he's saying, you don't call all the shots in life. Things don't always go the way you wish. We all know that. Things do not, most of the time, they don't go the way we wish, unfortunately. But this is, you know, there are situations, there are people in our lives we cannot control. So the whole thing in life is that we want control. We want to control things so we know what the outcome is going to be. It's very difficult to deal with the unknown outcome. Suddenly when something happens, extremely difficult to deal with. But this is what Bhagavan is saying. The nature of this Jagat, that which keeps coming and going, it is always changing, always. The nature of the Jagat is change. And it's a fact. So a fact means what? A fact means you have to accept, right? Facts have to be accepted. Facts have to be assimilated. By simply resisting facts, I am going to suffer. That is what Bhagavan is trying to say to Arjuna here. There is a choiceless acceptance here that is required because you have no choice in this situation. There are certain situations, of course, you have choice over, but this verse is not applicable to situations where you can change. This verse is not applicable to situations where you have some power. Okay, so we have to be very clear here. There are situations that can be changed. There are times where I can act and make a difference, but I have to know when to act and whether I can make a difference. And that is why I always brought in the serenity prayer, very beautiful prayer. Oh Lord, give me the serenity, the peace of mind to accept the things I cannot change. Give me the courage to change the things I can. And oh Lord, give me the wisdom to know the difference between the things I can change and the things I cannot. So this is what Bhagavan is addressing here. He's saying the nature of a thing cannot be changed. It's a fact. So where does my choice lie then? Where is my choice? Where is my free will operational in life then? You may ask. The free will is very much operational in how I decide to face the things I cannot change. That is the most important thing. How do I face? I cannot change coronavirus. Nobody can change coronavirus. We have no control over this virus. But how do I face the situation I have to go through? It is unpleasant, definitely. Life is not like how it used to be a few months back. But how am I going to take it? This is what, Bhagwan is bringing up in this verse. Let us not resist facts, because our Vedic concept of facts, what is our Vedic, not concept, I'll say understanding of facts. What is facts? The Vedic understanding of facts is that the facts are non-separate from Ishvara. For us, Ishvara, the understanding of Ishvara, the Lord, is the laws that operate in this universe, the orders that operate in this universe. He is very much in this universe as material cause in the form of orders. And the orders that we see all the time, we see orders in the form of biology, we see orders in the form of physics, we see orders in chemistry. Everything in this world, there's so much order. How amazing, right? We may see disorder, but there is order. And that resistance to the orders, what happens when I resist? I create pain. Any kind of friction creates heat, right? Even in physics, we know that. When I rub against the order, then I get burnt. So this reaction is in incapacity to accept a fact. That's what Bhagavan is saying here. And these reactions are, how are they born? Why do I react to unpleasant? They are mechanical. Most often they're mechanical reactions. It's some kind of programming, conditioning I've had from many lifetimes. It's not even from this lifetime alone that programs me to react to a situation in a certain way. And it is not the adult me reacting, it is the child in me. That's what Shastra says. There is a inner child in every one of us, the child that has not really grown up, the child that has been suppressed inside. And what happens? It is brought up in adulthood because it has not been nurtured enough. It has not been given the sense of security as a child. And this is how my adult life, in fact, I lived through the child alone. I've forgotten the adult in the reactions. The adult is what? The adult you is the objective you. The adult you is the one who can accept facts. The adult you doesn't resist life. That is because intelligence of an adult will give you discriminative capacity of the intellect to be able to question, is this good for me or is this not good for me, right? So Bhagavan said this, all of this in this verse. He brought up these type of themes in this verse, very beautiful themes, where he's talking about matra sparsha, when your sense organs, matras, like tra means instruments, and ma means to measure. So the instruments that measure this world, very beautiful Sanskrit word to describe sense organs. They measure this world. They bring in data from this world, input, and they have to bring in data. You cannot shut off your senses forever, right? People, you may think, if I close my senses, then I won't have any problem with the world. No, that's running away. That's what Arjuna wants to do. Wherever you run, you will definitely be exposed to the world in some way or other. You cannot escape, right? The only way to escape is death, and we don't call that an escape. We don't want to escape that way, right? So this parsha, they will constantly come into contact with these pairs of opposites, because he says, Bhagavan says here, the whole Jagat is pairs of opposites. Everything we deal with, if you know joy, you will know sorrow. If you know heat, you will know cold. That's the two pairs that he brings up here. Shita is cold, Ushna, heat, Sukha, joy, Dukkha, sorrow. Everything comes in pairs. Nothing comes in just by itself. So this is another fact you have to accept. This is the fact of this universe. Everything comes in pairs alone. You will not know one side without knowing the other side. So you cannot just have a one-sided coin. You have to, coins are always two-sided for a reason, right? So sometimes heads may come up, sometimes tails may come up. So how do I deal with it? That is what he's saying. Titikshasva, we saw that is the most key word here. Titikshasva. Oh, Arjuna, bear with it. Put up with it. Tolerate this. Endure what you have to go through. What can't be cured has to be endured. There's a saying in English, very, very nice saying. It's exactly like that. What cannot be cured has to be endured. That's what Bhagavan is saying here. Because everything is your prarabdha karma. Whatever is coming to you in life is nothing but your karmic order. It's also an order. What manifests in our life is nothing but the karma that we have to face. According to our Shastra, each jiva comes with that. We come with that baggage body of karma that we have to go through, right? We have to exhaust that. Then the question comes, how do I deal with all of this? How do I deal with these situations then? Yes, I accept, but how do I assimilate? Give me the tools. Arjuna may have asked, give me the tools, oh Lord, to be able to deal. I understand it's facts, but what do I do? Then Bhagavan brings in two more very beautiful words. He says what? He says, Agama apayinaha anityaha. These things have the nature of coming and going. They're anityaha. They are not permanent, Arjuna. No situation, no person, no object in this world is permanent. Always remember, they have a date of birth, a date of expiry. Everything has an expiry date. Everything that is in the objects of this world, we will always have a time where it is born or it comes into existence, a time when it disappears. Okay, some things come into existence and they stay existing for longer periods than other things, but everything eventually has its expiry date. It comes stamped. The moment you enter this world, There's a stamp of an expiry date. Another fact that we find it difficult to accept, right? That's why we have so much problem about death, about facing our mortality, because it's a fact that very, very few of us accept. It is a reality. That is what Bhagavan is going to say. This stula shariram, this physical body is going to fall off one day. For everyone, it's going to happen. However long you try and make it last, it is not going to be there forever. So Bhagavan said, keep these words in mind, that nothing is permanent. This will help you to assimilate. This will help you to be able to cope with the challenges that you have to face. There was another verse in a very beautiful book, the crest jewel of discrimination, which is the Viveka Chudamani, which is a lovely text by Adi Shankara, who is a great acharya in the Advaita lineage, in the non-dual tradition. And he defines this titiksha. What is titiksha exactly? He says, Sahanam sarva dukkhanam apratikara purvakam chinta vilaparahitam sa titiksha nigadyate. Sarva dukkhanam sahanam. You have to face, you have to cope. Sahanam means you have to bear a choiceless situation. Oh man, you have to bear it. You have to tolerate it. Whatever, however much you want to change it, whatever you want to do, you cannot change it. So you have to bear with it. And how do you bear with it? This is another thing that he gives in this verse, which is Bhagavan did not give in the Bhagavad Gita. But if you can manage this, especially for spiritual aspirants, this is a very good quality to develop. Apratikara purvakam, he says, without searching for steps constantly to remedy the situation. Very tough. He said, apratikara purvakam, without escaping or trying to eliminate it. That is very, very tough. Okay, we're only talking about, again, choiceless situations. We have to be careful. There are situations where you can make a change. Bhagavan is not talking, Adi Shankara is not talking about the situations where you can change. Again, I reiterate, it's situations that you cannot change. Situations you cannot change, you have to accept. So he says, don't keep trying, knowing that you can't change it. Don't waste your time and energy constantly complaining and constantly saying, I want this to be different. How do I change this? All your time goes on this, trying to change a choiceless situation. You'll get exhausted. You'll have a nervous breakdown. Don't do it. That's what Adi Shankara is saying here. And then how else do I cope with it? He says, Chinta vilaparahitam, without worry. Chinta vilapa means without worry. Okay, Chinta is worry. So when you worry, you don't trust the divine. That is what worry shows, actually. If we're really, really honest with ourselves, if we trust the divine, if we trust there's an order in this universe, the order Karma Paladata, who knows the intelligence, supreme intelligence, who knows everything that's happening at every moment for every single jiva on this planet. That's the amazing intelligence of Ishvara. If I trust fully in that, if I surrender my egoic self, that little me that wants to control all my life and everybody else's life as well, not just my life, everything should be as I want it for my happiness. That is what human beings are like. Very, very natural as well. But this is what he's saying here. Chinta, keep away this worry. Trust God, trust the divine. Let go and let God. He knows what he's doing. That takes tremendous willpower, right? It's very difficult because our ego keeps coming in. No, but I want it this way. No. Every time the mind comes like that, the ego blows up. Bhagavan is saying here, remember, worry is a sign that you have not given your life to the Lord. Worry is a sign, what? That you don't trust in the order that is divine. There should not be worry. And not just, he uses another word, vilapa. Vilapa is another word, which is, why me thinking? Why is this happening to me? Why am I going through this? And actually, our Shastra says, why not you? Why don't we ever ask, why not me? We always ask, why me? Why me? We never say, why not me, right? It is because we are very, our minds are programmed to have this victim psychology, that we are victims in life, that we are the only ones suffering, that all the bad things happen to me alone. Nobody else has to go through what I have to go through. This is, again, the human dilemma. It is not limited to one person or two people. Generally, it is majority. And this is what titiksha is not. Titiksha is vilapa, getting rid of that why me thinking, that victim thinking, keeping it aside every time it comes in the mind. No, I am not a victim. I'm not a victim of circumstances. These are happening to me. This is happening in my life right now, but I let go and let God, let go and let God. That is such a beautiful mantra to have in your head. Namaha, the word Namaha, every time, many of you may have chanted mantras, and you see in most of the mantras, you'll have this word Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Namaha, right? Namaha, very beautiful word. It's pregnant with meaning. It actually means, oh Lord, in the form that I'm worshipping you in, whether it be Shiva, whether it be Krishna, whether it be Vishnu, it can be any form, but this Namaha means, I do not resist you in my life. Whatever you do, I do not resist you in my life. When you chant, every single time you chant the mantra, that is actually what you're saying. It is not a mechanical chant. You're saying, Om Namah Shivaya, oh Lord Shiva, I do not resist you in my life. Whatever you give, prasadam, I accept, glad acceptance. Even though it's unpleasant, my mind resists, I accept. It's your prasadam. So this is what these two words mean. Titiksha means not having worry and not having this victim thinking, because you leave it to Bhagavan. So we saw this, also we saw the value of Kshanti as well, very important. Kshanti, not Shanti, the peace that we know, not Shntianti, it is KS, so Kshanti, which means accommodation. Accommodation, how do I accept people if the question comes? Then this value comes into the picture, because it's not just situations I have to accept in life. There are people. This is what Arjuna has to also face, in his life. There are people I have to accept in my life. How do I accept people? The more difficult than coronavirus is people, especially people close to me. So that always the people close to us trigger or push our buttons. I've said this millions times, but we all have personal experience of this, I'm sure. It's very easy to say, I love the people of Iceland. I love the people, everyone in Iceland I adore. Why? You can adore everyone anywhere because you don't know them. It's very easy to love people you don't know, right? You can love the whole jagat, that you can send out loving thoughts to the whole world. But can you do it with somebody who is making you angry, pushing your buttons? That is what we need. Titiksha, this value has to come into the picture when somebody is pushing my buttons, making me react, making all this anger or whatever I have to go through come up. So this is where Kshanti. Kshanti is a beautiful saying. I've said this before. I love this saying by Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde said, selfishness is not living the way you wish to live. That is not selfishness. Selfishness is expecting others to live the way you wish to live. Think about it. Selfishness is not the way you wish to live, living the way you wish to live. It is expecting others to live the way you wish to live. That is not titiksha. So this irritability, moodiness, all of this shows lack of titiksha. And this is what Bhagavan is saying in this word. No, develop the quality of titiksha. Unpleasant, pleasant situations, more or less the same response. Of course, we cannot have exactly the same response, but more or less the same response. And keep understanding that every situation, everything in life is constantly changing, constantly moving. Nothing is permanent. This is a fact that we'll see in the next verses.